Now, even the presidency has said that they are not aware of Godwin Emefiele's request to go on study leave. But why is this even a matter if Godwin Emefiele should ask for a study leave at this time? Are people suspicious that he's trying to run away from something, or he doesn't want to give account of something? What exactly do you think is really playing out?
Now, one of the things to first look at is during the currency swap.
Yeah.
At a point, the whereabouts of the CBN governor was actually shrouded in mystery as to whether he was out of town, whether he was in, and things like that. So that created a tremor, so to say. And this time around, you're looking at it, there are always cause and effect. The reality on ground is the fact that Governor Emefiele still has 10 months to go. So the question is, where is study leave coming in? And where I come from, they said there is no smoke without fire.
Fire, okay.
If there is nothing that is close to that, there may not be that rumor. Let us look at it. For me, it's a case of what exactly is going on.
Right.
Is it a case whereby, because the CBN governor reports to the president, in a lot of instances, and is the chairman of the board of the CBN, the question is to go where? 10 months to the end of the tenure. He spent 2 times of 5 years each. That means this is a CBN governor that actually had experienced 2 presidents, so to say, as at now, and may also experience the 3rd president. So in one word, he becomes a CBN governor that spanned 3 presidencies. That's quite interesting, and almost nearly, it's like maybe a first time we will have much of that. So in a way, 10 months to go, where is study leave coming from? It begs the question. And it also leaves people to begin to ask questions. If this is true, of course, Malam Shehu Garba has come out to debunk that the presidency is not aware
of that.
He didn't say that the president did not. Let us look at it. He didn't say the president did not give this, or we cannot, but he says we are not aware that something of such.
But is it possible for the president should give assent to something and the presidency is not aware? Is it possible?
Well, the reality is sometimes you ask yourself, who is the president, who is the president?
Well, he said the secretariat.
The secretariat, headed by the chief of staff, should also have been aware.
Yes.
Now, the reality is this: we've seen in this particular dispensation where certain things happen and people say we're not aware, and only to find out that it actually held. So in a way, it's neither here nor there. But the reality is, what does the CBN Act itself say? That's one thing we need to consider. The CBN Act actually says that the governor cannot take on anything that will jeopardize his work as a CBN governor. I think Section 9 or so actually raised something like that, that the CBN governor cannot do certain things. And of course, if you want to resign before your time, you need to give 3 months. That's what the Act says. So the question is, if the governor wants to leave, and I keep asking, you have 10 months to go, what study leave is anybody talking about? If the CBN governor wants to go on study leave 10 months to the expiration of his term, then there is more that meets the highs. That's for me. So in a way, it's a case of saying, where I come from, they say, if I'm permitted to say it in Yoruba, they say, Ojo gate, kojo gate, ofese mejeji, shekini kan, and then egun atiro wole, iyan atiro jade.
You definitely interpret.
I will interpret. That means we're saying that it looks like it's maybe like a mirage, but it could it have been when you have a masquerade, a limping masquerade going to the house, and a limping man comes out of the house, you got to ask questions. Exactly what is going on here. So in a way, there have been those issues of, let us look at it, the currency swap created a problem in the system. People were impoverished. We all faced the music. It doesn't matter whether you have 10 million in your account or you have 10 naira in your account. In fact, some people actually didn't have as much as 10,000 naira, but they will say the problem is because I can't get to the bank. But the issue is that became a major inconvenience for the nation and the people. And we have a fallback that we still can't even clear up as at now. The effect of that situation is still with us.
Yeah.
So the question is, what are the implications of this to the CBN, to the incoming government, as well as to the governor himself? It's only fair, I mean, it's only natural to think that there may want to be a bailing in some of these things.
All right, but the point there is, the naira swap policy, one would see it as the government's policy being carried out by the Central Bank of Nigeria. Or let us assume that the CBN as an institution muted it or conceived it, but it would or must have been approved
by the president.
By the president.
So why are there knocks for the CBN governor and so much talk about the CBN governor come and answer for the woes of the naira swap rather than the president taking, because everything stops the bulk of the stops on the table of the president?
Well, the truth is this question we must ask. The reason why the president is the president and he has people to work with him, including the CBN governor, is because he can't be everything and is not a know-all. So the question is, who advised him? Where did the council come from? Who put who put the business case before him for him to approve? It's still, so in whichever way you want to look at it, that means that the advisors or the people who actually are in charge of those kind of advice and what have you, or policy formulation, got it wrong at the time they did. On its own, it may just be a fantastic idea to say, okay, you know what, let's do a currency change. But at the end of the day, people ask questions. Is it actually a change of currency or a change of colors? That is one. Secondly, not at that particular material time. It was precarious to do it just months to a general election. I've never seen it done before anywhere. Really, that you would do.
Nigeria.
And then and of course, there's a way you do currency swap or currency change. It's a gradual thing. You don't come in and slam.
As you inject to withdraw, as you inject to withdraw.
It's a matter of time. Yeah. It takes sometimes, for example, in England right now, the currency is going to take maybe like 2 years or thereabout for it to be out of circulation. So as it comes in, it's not going out again until it's such a time when everybody, it dissipates and there's no pressure again. But not this one that. So it means that the policy formulation and the policy execution was actually faulted right from the word go. So the question is, what kind of leadership are we talking about? Anyway, like I would say, right from the word go with this particular CBN governor, I've had issues and I've had my concerns because there have been so much policy somersault. Today you hear of, okay, we're having this for Forex matter. The next 2 weeks, everything is changing. It doesn't help stability. There's no fiscal stability. There's no economic stability in such an environment. And so the last 9 years plus, or thereabout, of this CBN governor, we've had so much of policy mismatch and somersault. So at the end of the day, it's not as if this is just a flash in the pan or just a one-off. It's something that has been consistent with this particular CBN governor's regime, and that becomes a source for concern. So the question is, and then at the same time, he was politically exposed. That is one thing we need to understand. The CBN governor became politically exposed, what we call a PEP, a politically exposed person. He became, which was totally out of order and not in tandem with the CBN Act that brought him in. So the question is, in the light of all of that, you've got to ask questions. So what was the motive of a number of policies that came out from the CBN? And so when we want to say the president, the reason why the president is the president and is not a know-it-all is because he should have competent advisors and competent leaders who are around him to tell him about policies and what have you. So in a way, he's still to be blamed as CBN governor, because if those policies didn't come from the CBN, the president will not necessarily have looked at that, because everybody knows that that wasn't the right time to do such project, as it were. So whatever it may be, why we say that the buck stops at the president's table, the question is, some advisors, some key leaders or key personnel within the government actually have to take the flak for this, because as long as it's their purview and it rests within the ambit of their, their authority and what they need to advise the president on. If he says, tells the president, if he had told the president rather, you know what, this is not the right time to do this, even if the president had muted or asked about it, as a CBN governor, he has what it takes. Don't forget that in all of this, the finance minister actually came out like,
had no idea.
like it wasn't me, kind of thing. That I had no idea what was going on here.